Hi there, folks. This is episode 4 of my Living Like Linus series. This is coming somewhere into week 3 rather than week 2, because week 2 was fairly uneventful. It's just a lot of shopping, fetching and carrying again. Apart from the chain coming off my bike and the rear tyre, I think either needs pumping or it's got a puncture or something. I don't know, but yeah, this week I hurt my back over the weekend trying to ride a pole on my 3 meter. It got really windy and the pole got blown out of place, so that wasn't great. It's still a bit sore. I also felt a bit ill yesterday. Think I was just I just drank too much fluid because I ended up throwing up a bit last night. I slept most of the day as well, so yeah. On the note of fetching and carrying, that's how it currently looks. So I've got my flooring down for what it's worth. It's going to need to go into the laundrette when I can be bothered, because that glow-in-the-dark urinal I had, it was working fine until it wasn't. Like 3 times in a row it just leaked, so I ditched it. So yeah. And oh yeah, one of the things I'm working on, because I rescued the project for that. So that's the latest in my Mario blanket. This, it says on here, suitable for, where does it say? Ideal for lighting open fires, solid fuel cookers. Ideal for lighting solid fuel cookers, it says. Is it now? I mean, look at the state of those. Hexamine's clean by comparison. Put this back in. I've got to hope that the dish wipes I've got can clean all that off. But yeah, I've got my new pans, including this. Yeah, so I got these, which are much better for solid fuel. These are actually wax tablets. So, and that is definitely cleaner than hexamine. And stay there. So I have a nice pot with a lid. I mean, that's much better, isn't it? I think it's like double the width or something. Plus a frying pan. And put it back in there. Oopsie. Oh, that's better. So I got myself a little snack bag, which I'll be dipping into at some point. That's my solar charger, which needs to go out in the sun. It's a bit on the chilly side today. It's not too bad. That's it. So you need strong direct sunlight to charge that thing properly. Anyway, I think I've fallen. Oh yes, so I know I haven't made my bed again. I finally succumbed to buying that better mattress and pillow because of how solid this is. It's just so I mean, it's kind of okay to sleep on, but it's just uncomfortable, and I just can't take it anymore. This sleeping bag, I've got this because it'll be better than my other one, which I think is worn thin, possibly. I don't know if it has, well, I don't think it has, but it's more of a 3-season. This is a 3 to 4 season, I think, but it's also bigger. It's more roomy as well, which is cool. I will try again about making the bed with that tonight when I get my better things. That's my weighted blanket there, which I'm going to have to extend because it keeps sliding off the bed. Oh, yeah, so my back's still a bit sore. So I've fallen into the habit of overworking myself or pushing myself too hard. And now I've hit a slump again. So I had a nice productive couple of weeks. I think it was just going out and fetching things from the car and doing a bit of shopping when I need to and all that. But I've been suffering for it a bit. So I mean, I've tried to take some time off, despite the whole needing to do things. Like I got a phone call this morning, I think, from a social worker who I've been referred to by that counsellor I mentioned. Funny thing with that is, for some reason, I need to be in a house before I can get a social worker. Don't know why. But yeah, so she's like, when you're in the house, then get back to me and we can sort something out. Which, I mean, pretty cool in that I can actually get social worker now when I'm living in a house, or if I'm living in a house. But it just kind of sucks. Like, I need to be in a house to qualify for social work. On the other hand, it's like I get the odd thing where, can I even cope with living in a tent? Because there's things that need washing or cleaning. I should have put the flooring and the wearable hoodie that I live in the laundrette already, because it leaked on both of them, but I haven't done that for a few days, I think. I'm still going through the whole trying to pace myself, I think. Yeah, it's hard. I think it's just the whole adjusting. I'm not sure what it is. Like, I think I need to be doing all this stuff. Like, things that need doing or whatever. But I also need to remind myself to go easy on myself. Like, there's a reason I'm unfit for work at the moment. But yeah, I need to go up to the doctors at some point just to sign a change of address form or something, because they say they can use their address to receive hospital letters and the like, so that's cool. So I'm gonna go up there. I've got to pick up the rest of my script. There's the last bits I need to get from my car as well, so I suppose I better see to that as well. I think I'm still feeling a bit under the weather from a day or so ago. I don't know, I swing between not drinking enough because conscious of going to those urinal bags and not drinking enough to drinking too much when I'm just like, yeah, I'm thirsty. I probably need more water than I've been drinking, so I end up going the other way and feeling sick and throwing up in the night. So, not great. But yeah, I mean, I've had phone calls regarding trying to get me back into a house or whatever, but I've still not had any kind of sign of being moved on. It's like, I'm not even worried about going outside and being seen now. The only time I am is when I'm leaving the area to go do something. But people have seen me now. There was a thing, I think it was last week. I was getting some water, like refilling from the filter bag, and there were a couple of guys by a bit of fence opening. I heard them talking. I just because I don't know I don't know what it is, but just I will just glance in the direction of wherever the sound came from. So I just look back at them, just curious, and found they were talking and watching me as well. So I was like, turned back to the woods. I was like, oh great, but nothing happened still. So also, I think the whole camping behind a load of trees has actually helped in more than one way. Like, it's naturally burglar proof, I think, because burglars are opportunists, and the I mean, you can see my tents rather, but not very much of it. So hopefully that's enough. I mean, I've gone running errands, even left my laptop in the tent, and come back and everything's still here. So, but yeah, I hope things get better once my new bed stuff arrives. I suspect that's partly why I've been feeling under the weather. It's just because it's hard to get comfy. So I've not been sleeping great. Mind you, bad sleeping is nothing new, but this is just another way it sucks, really. But yeah, I will see if I can at least give that stove a clean. It's, I need to do a bit of food shopping, I think. It's just more trying to get into some kind of, I don't know if routine's the right word. I don't really have one. Maybe that's part of the problem, but I had that in the house as well. I mean, I felt a lot worse because it was just me and a load of clutter and feeling stuffy and everything. It's not much better here at the moment, but when my the inheritance finally gets paid and I can start buying things like a bit of storage space to put some of this stuff away. Should be better then. Yeah, I think that's everything at the moment. So yeah, I somehow managed to break the keyboard on my old laptop, which isn't helpful. But yeah, I'll just stick that in my car when I'm going to get the rest of my stuff. And then after that, it's going to be a case of booking a taxi to get everything else out of my car and into storage. Apart from that, I think things are starting to settle down in that way in terms of chores. I do really need to get a solar power station or portable power station or something like that, though, just so I'm not up at the library so damn much. Yeah, part of the teething troubles, I suppose. I will get there at some point, I hope. Anyway, I will leave it there for now. Catch you later. Hi there, folks. It's about 9 o'clock on the 16th of April. Yeah. Excuse me. These updates are starting to get all over the place. I do apologise. So it's coming up to the first month here. And as you can hear outside, probably, it is absolutely miserable. It's apparently 3 degrees outside. I can see my breath, so I dread to think how cold it is outside. So obviously I'm staying right here as much as possible today. I'll get the easy stuff out of the way first. My mattress and pillow arrived. You can see that. So there's my pillow. There's a reason I'm not switching the camera this time. Just can't be bothered. Where's the mattress? There it is. There's the mattress there. And there's the pillow, and I've got the blanket on top. Not my weighted blanket. So that's on top of the sleeping bag. So I've finally solved the bed problem. To the point where I can forget I'm sleeping in the tent. It is that comfy now. So that problem is solved, thank God. So I can sleep better. That's one positive. That's the only positive, sadly. I think I mentioned possible UTI in either episode 1 or 2. Thankfully, it isn't a UTI. I found that out when I went to the doctor yesterday. For those of you who haven't seen any of my journals, I had some lower surgery when I was transitioning to male over 10 years ago. So it's not a phalloplasty, it's a metoidioplasty, which just it turns the existing organ you have into a micropenis, complete with urethral hookup. So it extends the urethra by taking the tissue from inside the cheek wall. So I suspect there's some complications regarding that's causing my problems, and it seems to be getting worse. It's like every morning is a struggle to get out of the sleeping bag and grab one of those disposable urinal things before I piss everywhere, and it's getting harder to do that. Thankfully I've been referred to a urologist now. Sooner the better, to be honest. I think that's it for that one. The main problem is to do with something you may have noticed on my face. I've got a lovely cut there. Also got a nice cut on some of my lip. Yeah, just see there. That's not the main problem, however. I'll explain in a minute. So I was getting some water yesterday, or trying to get some water. So you've seen where I get the water from. You've seen the river. So there's a little bit further up. So it's about a foot drop from the grass to the river stones along some of the way. There's the more natural, there's a more gentle incline that I usually go down. This time I was a bit further up, and decided in my infinite wisdom to try and drop down a little way further up from where I usually go, and I could do it. So it wasn't a bad drop, actually. It was something I could jump down. Trouble is, I caught my foot in something on my way down, so it ended up being a tripwire where I fell from the grass straight onto the rocks about a foot below. About a foot below? Yeah, something like that. Cut on my face is from where I caught the rocks. I've got a nice graze on my knee. A couple of my ribs feel bruised. The main injury, however, is this. So, yeah, I broke my left wrist, and I am left-handed. So that's fun, and it wasn't even what you like. You know these simple fractures that you can get. This ain't it. So this is actually the second worst kind of injury I've had after a fall. The first was the motorbike accident I had, where I ended up with both hands in plaster, broken ankle, and metal screw in my thumb. This one was on a similar scale to what I did to my thumb, except I don't need a screw, thankfully. So I'll try and keep the details short because it gets pretty grim. So this, when they eventually managed to take the coat sleeve off, and it absolutely killed trying to do that. It was how I guessed it was broken in the first place, but it looked dislocated, and my hand was out an angle there, so you could see you could see the bone jutting out there. It wasn't protruding the skin or anything, but you could see it there, and the hand was more like that or something. So apparently, I will try to remember what I was told, because I was pretty foggy for the rest of the day for reasons I'll explain in a minute. But apparently, you know how there's two bones in the forearm. Both of those got fractured near the top, near the top of the arm, towards the hand. They also managed to, like, I'll try and explain. If I hold the camera still a bit. It's hard to explain here, but like you've got the bones there and hand here, and it's like that. And there was apparently a hematoma pooling underneath, a bit of internal bleeding. So yeah, it looks nasty. It certainly felt nasty, and turns out it was nasty. Um, when they took the coat sleeve off, they were like, "Oh, it's dislocated." Yeah, I wish it was. That would have been an easy fix. But instead, the nurse decided to inject some local anaesthetic into the hematoma area, which hurt like hell. Also, yeah, just to clarify, this was all an outpatient job, so this all happened yesterday. So there was local anaesthetic injected into my hands. Instead of knocking me out, like giving me a sedative, like they did with when they sorted my thumb out, they put me on gas and air, and I won't go too much into it, but when was it? See, nearly 20 years ago now. Jesus. I experienced a stillbirth. Gas and air was the first thing they tried with me, but I didn't like how it felt, so I switched to an epidural, as I explained to the nurse, because she asked if I'd had it before. So this time I didn't have a choice in the matter, so it was just keep breathing, and she was saying, like, when you start laughing, you'll be able to start working or something like that. I didn't laugh. I don't think I did anyway. What actually happened was a very, very similar experience to when I was tripping on mushrooms. At least the first part. I mean, no hallucinating when I came back down, but when I was, there was definitely like the trip experience. Like I had my eyes closed because I didn't want to. I was like trying to distract myself from what was likely to hurt when they were doing my wrist. But so I had my eyes closed, and I could feel myself going off in a similar way to when I was on mushrooms. It was weird as hell. I came back down to earth, sort of. There was a big sense of like, Bohemian Rhapsody. Is this the real life or is this just fantasy? That's how I was feeling for a fair while afterwards. It was really weird. So I spent the rest of the day pretty much out of it. I went to the leisure centre when it happened. I think it was, when was it? I think I got there by about 1 o'clock or something. I eventually left hospital at about 7:30 in the evening. So the fun part of this, just to go into state of British healthcare these days, the leisure centre staff called the ambulance after applying a bit of first aid, mainly to the chin there. Ambulance gave us a wait time of 3 hours. And from what I gather from stories from some of the staff, and even the taxi driver taking me down there, because they covered a taxi to take me. Excuse me. They covered a taxi to take me down there in the end, because I didn't have money for bus fare. But from the stories I've heard, I was lucky. There was stories of like waiting like 5 or more hours for an ambulance. I think the taxi driver told me there was this guy having having an emergency or something. I think it was a heart issue. I can't remember what it was, but he took himself on a bus in the end. The ambulance wait was that long. It's ridiculous. And so yeah, fortunately they covered my they covered the taxi ride up there instead. When it came to coming back, I was like, I don't have the money to come back. And they checked. They went and checked. It's very good of them actually, and came back. They're like, the fare's only £3. Oh, okay. So I've got I had like £5.98 in my wallet. So yeah, that was fortunate. So I now have a conundrum. In like it's a double whammy now. I have. So there's the incontinence I'm experiencing. It's not bad incontinence, at least I'll say it's not bad. It's not as bad as it could be. Although last night before I left the hospital might tell a different story, but I'll spare the details. Fortunately, I was wearing disposable underwear. I will leave it at that. But so there's that. Broken dominant hand, rather wrist. So I won't be doing crochet or knitting for a while. Anyone who's especially seen me at Empire will know that's likely to drive me crazy after a fairly short amount of time. Fortunately, I can write with my right hand. It takes about twice as long, but I can do it. I did rescue a couple of word search books from my car when I figured over the weekend. Like it's part of the adjusting period. Like I've been learning very quickly not to take the electronics for granted, because the leisure centre is only open during the week. So the solar power pack was only charging about 2 bars a time after being left in the sun. Only it's been overcast for the past few days as well. And if you can hear it, but anyone who's seen my Stardew videos where I was playing with Weather Wonders, one of the weather options was a deluge. This is a real life version. Howling wind and pouring rain, and I'm just hoping that the 3-meter tent is going to hold up, because as I mentioned last time, I put my back out trying to right the pole from the last time it was windy. But this tent is holding up pretty well so far. Touch wood. But I got a text message, like a chaser message from the Bridgend Homelessness team asking if I still wanted help. I also one of the nurses was talking through some help available for homeless people, one of which I wasn't aware of actually. So it's I think it's a charity, but it's talking about tailor-made solutions for getting people out of homelessness or something. I've got the paperwork here actually. Bear with me a second. Hard to work one-handed. Oh, excuse camera. This is how I'm having to manage now. This is it. The Woolwich. It's an interesting name. It's a service which offers tailored advice, support and assistance for people who are homeless or threatened by homelessness, except the wording's gone off. Our support. The service can help people find appropriate accommodation, manage rent arrears and other debts, claim any benefits they're entitled to, like PIP maybe, signpost to other relevant agencies. So yeah, side IDing the appropriate accommodation, because what was I don't know if I've mentioned, I think I mentioned before, state of the renting system in Britain these days, and benefits to cover it. As in, I was ranting with the taxi driver about it on the way down. You're given 400 quid for housing element of universal credit. The cheapest studio in this kind of area, we're looking at like 475, 495, something like that. But typically it's like you're looking at like 500 up for a small one-bedroom flat or even a studio. So yeah, and that's without factoring in bills, by the way. So yeah, appropriate accommodations. But anyway, the centre also offers shower facilities, washing machine and tumble dryer, access to telephone and computers. Well, I have a computer bay. Emergency clothing and food, postal address facilities, and needle exchange, but that's for people who have it. Postal address facilities. So yeah, it sounds like a hostel, but there's something else in here. No, actually, I looked it up on the way back home. They talk about temporary accommodation, but unlike the others, it talks about tailoring for people who are, say, addicts or in poor mental health or other sorts of things. So it might be worth giving them a go, actually, because as I was saying to one of the nurses yesterday, living in a tent, especially alone, is all well and good until you get injured. So I was like yesterday, at least for some part of it, I was like, how the hell am I going to manage? So my main hand is out of action. And unlike the last time my hands were in casts. Okay, my right hand is a bit of a different story, because it was more for it was for the wrist and fingers, whereas this one is more for the thumb. But this one, it's hard to move the fingers without it hurting, so I have to be pretty careful with how I use this hand. But yeah, so this hand is out of action, and I'm glad I filled the water bottle when I did. Because the idea was to refill my water filter bag. I took you through it a couple of episodes ago, the process for that. So that bag is still outside on the ground somewhere from where I fell. So you've seen how the process goes, right? So you have to step out into the river, on well, not literally into the river, but you've got the bag to fill up, you've got to bring it back, which okay, that's fine, but you've got to roll the bloody thing up, and you've got to attach it to the tree straps. How am I going to do that? There's that, and getting dressed is a bit of a challenge. Like I was putting my bed socks on this morning because it's bloody cold. That was a challenge. I did the clever thing of keeping my t-shirt on from yesterday. Yeah. Um, yeah. I'm not sure now if I'm going to be in this tent for much longer, to be honest, depending what happens with making phone calls. But one of the nurses pointed out yesterday, I'm as far as homeless people go, and like you got people who are more vulnerable when they're homeless than others. And she was like, "Well, you're extra vulnerable now because of your injury." And that and the incontinence issues I've been experiencing as well. It's a nightmare in the mornings, as I mentioned. And that coupled with this, I don't think I'm going to manage as well as I was. I mean, I was doing great before. It's just a case of how you take things for granted. So there's there's been a lot of like eye-opening moments, I guess, just from this past month in the tent. Like, you realise very quickly how you end up taking, say, especially electric, for granted, and washing clothes, which I still haven't done yet. I'm certainly not doing it today. So there's that, and having to be more careful with the money because I've had to buy things to make things more bearable, especially more comfortable with the bed, and the disposable urinals they're working out expensive. But the problems I'm having, I've got no choice at the moment, because I did look up ways to dispose of urine when while camping, and although it's not as bad as with solids, like you don't have to dig a cat hole, but you do need to be at least 200 feet or like 60 meters away from a water source to dispose of it safely, as in no chance of it leaching into the natural water systems. Definitely don't piss in it. But yeah, so that's been a bit of an issue that I'm still, or was still, trying to figure out. I was considering getting like a chemical toilet or something, or maybe a composting toilet when I got my inheritance through, which I'm still waiting for. But yeah, when I was doing my journals and talking about making these videos in the first place, I mentioned pretty much from the start that it wasn't going to be like you hear about with these van life videos where they apparently glamorize it. I wanted to definitely not do that, and this is a big way of not glamorizing it. Is just like, there's upsides and downsides to any kind of living, really, especially out of the box living like this. I've even got a slug in here now. But yeah, for the most part, despite the odd ball ache of like refilling water and toilet issues and stuff, I was actually enjoying it. I was actually enjoying this way of life. It's been nice and peaceful. All I've had in the background when I sleep is the river, usually. Especially now the bed issue's sorted out, and it's been so comfy now. So that's been great. But fortunately, I do tend to enjoy camping anyway. And even as an outdoorsy camping person, I am saying right now, tent life isn't all it's cracked up to be. I mean, it can be, but where it isn't is when stuff like this happens. So I suppose it's the same with any kind of homeless situation, or any other kind of situation where, like, I mean, I was living alone in a house before this, but at least then I had an address to give people. So like if I did need an ambulance, or say in minor injuries yesterday, excuse me, the amount of times I was asked for my address and the amount of times I had to tell them I don't have one. So I mean, that part wasn't so much of an issue. Where it did become a little bit of an issue is when the GP in the morning, when I saw him about incontinence problems, was like trying to figure out where to send the appointment cards when I get my urology appointment. But yeah, say tent living isn't all it's cracked up to be. Living alone certainly isn't. I think that's the main issue, rather than, like, if I was tent sharing with someone else, then I'll be all right. But when it comes to like natural deluge outside and it's freezing cold, then yeah, tent living isn't great. But it would be fine possibly if I had a wood stove in here, although then I wouldn't have the reflective cover or the extra waterproof protection of the cover. Plus trying to manage this over this, I mean, even that I probably could manage just about. Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. Just looking around at kind of things I've got set up for myself. It's doable, some of it is at least. But when it comes to replacing the water, I'm going to have a problem. It's the only other solution I can find when I run out of water is I can't fill up at the leisure centre because like 2 litre bottle, it just wouldn't be right. Or maybe I could, I don't know. But the other option is buying water from the co-op or other place. And I have no money this week. I next get paid, I hope it's by next Tuesday, because I've got an appointment at the fracture clinic there. So that's going to be fun. But yeah. Yeah, so I was starting to rethink how I was doing these videos anyway, because I was just yesterday, no, day before I was looking into building a fire pit, which is going to be relatively easy, I think, because I've got a fair amount of stone around here. I may or may not need a shovel, but I was thinking of doing separate videos for just things like that, like building a fire pit, doing the washing, because that's a lot different, because I've got a washing bag over there. How I'm going to do that, I don't know, because it's like the water bag outside. You need to roll it up Don't know how I'm going to manage that with one hand. But yeah, I was thinking of doing those kind of videos separate from the vlogging videos like this one. I probably will still keep doing the vlogging videos, although whether it'll still be Living Like Linus or something else by then, I don't know. It's honestly kind of a shame that I may have to look at giving up the tent life. But I mean, this has been like 6 or 8 weeks in the cast. I'm not sure there's any other way around it at this point. So yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. But that's it for this episode then. I will catch you folks later. Bye.